Hey, this is Dr. Dean. Thanks for joining me. Trade order flow, a room to avoid. Let's do this and put it in the right color. If you're watching this video for the first time, or even a second, you need to know that the original video was taken down because of a legal claim by Maria of copyright infringement. Very serious. And YouTube, when they receive that, takes down the video and gives me, Dean, a copyright strike and forces me to substantiate or verify the claims against me and to defeat them, which I have done. And I'm posting this revised video. So if you want to, you can go to the end of the video and see how I defeated the copyright claim. So here we go. I have had an extensive history with Maria, going back many years, maybe 3 or 4 years. I built this website for her, Trade the Eminis. I came up with that picture, the language, and even the fonts themselves. And she opened up a room, and here's my invitation to it. Trade the Eminis. It came out in 2014. I spent some time in that room, and eventually she closed it and shut up and put it away. One thing, of course, is that she chose this name, TradeTheEminis.com, which is almost identical to John Szymanski's TradeTheEmini.com. And I advised Maria to not choose a name so close to someone else's, but she ignored me, did it anyway. And you'll see that attitude persists. So here we go. Let's fast forward to this room, Trade Order Flow. I was in this room last year for a month or so. This is a trade on oil. Do you see the entry? Do you see the exit, the targets, and the stops? Do you see the number of contracts? Do you see anything? No? Let's try another one. NASDAQ. Nice trade, yes? See that entry right there? Can you see any entries? You see any prices? Notice the chart trader to the right is blank. Nothing's showing. Do you see the stops? No? How about this? This is 6E. Nice trade, right? You see the entry? You see any execution at all? No? Here's another oil trade. Now look carefully. You see the trade right before your eyes? No? No, I didn't either. That's what it's like in her room. So, in addition to not showing the trades, I said, Maria, where's your track record? You don't have a track record. And here's what she said. We have limited space. Limited space. You know, the cyber domain has infinite space. But she had limited space. And that's excuse number one. A little bit later, I said, look, I saw some great moves in the video, because she would make a video of her trades and then add in the information on the trade, but I never saw it in real time, either on a DOM or on the charts. How come? And she said to me, because I don't have 5 arms. All right, yeah, I guess you would need 5 arms. She also said, remember, I trade and can't show live account. You can't show it. Oh, okay. You don't have to show the account, you just have to show the trade. Excuse number 3. And I'm not a CFA. Oh, okay. You don't need to be a CFA, but that's Maria's excuse number 4. And here's the big one. I don't have enough hands. So she doesn't have 5 arms, and she's missing some hands. No, it's just so sad. So you can see in a space of just a few emails, I get 5 excuses why she doesn't have a track record. She can't show her trades in real time. Now, so, I mean, you would say, well, she's basically a trader with insufficient cyberspace. She's missing 3 arms. She can't show her trades, she's not a CFA, and she's missing some hands. That's just so sad. Now, she said to me, everyone in my room is happy and they're doing well. But I got these emails from people in their room. Be careful, she doesn't show her trades ever. Yeah, it's true. She often has runners that seem to materialize when profits are great. And I saw that as well. In fact, when I was in her room, I was surprised that Maria maintained her track record as an oral record. She would summarize a trade verbally, and then she'd take another trade, and she'd summarize, again, we hadn't seen the entries, exits, targets, or stops, but she'd summarize the execution of that trade, and then she'd take the profit from the second trade and add to the first, and get a new summary, and she'd go through the day like that, as an oral record. She calls trades, so we never know if she filled. We can't see anything. Anytime a person has a business model that purposefully hides from you all detail on trade execution, it is by design. They choose to do that. She forgets trades that she took a lot, especially if they're losers. I was in Maria's room for about a month, and there were 7 trades that she lost and just didn't even record or mention until I mentioned them to her. 2 in one day, in fact. She would take a losing trade, she'd take another losing trade, and she'd take a third trade, and she'd be up. She'd be profitable. And I'd remind her that she took 2 losing trades, and she begrudgingly would add them in. Now, I published a paper just a little while back on the Global Odyssey, and I listed all the different excuses that rooms come up with, the most common ones. So you see, there's Maria. Does not have 5, do not have 5 arms. I'm just too busy trading. And of course, she's missing some hands too. It's just really silly. So trade order flow, a room to avoid. I look for a track record. Tracks, profit loss per trade, per day, per week, per month, and so on. Goes to accountability. She originally said she doesn't have any space, but that doesn't really stand. And from a detailed track record, you can calculate how much money they make at 3 contracts to trade, which goes to efficiency. So these two are kind of linked. And they must show their trades in real time, not an alert service. Now, I have been in many rooms that give you alerts, sometimes hours before the trade is called, and tell you to get in at this price or get out at that price. But you cannot substantiate that they took the trade. You don't know their entry, you don't know their exits, you don't know their targets and stops, because all that is purposefully hidden from you. And anything that's hidden from you is not in your best interest. So this is Dr. Dean. Thanks for listening. Now, this was the conclusion of my original video. And then as I was asking for opinions, bang, I got this video taken down by Maria. Here she is in her ice cream truck. My 9-year-old son walked in and looked at her and said, I wouldn't buy any food from her. And you see my video was taken down because of a copyright strike. So I had to substantiate my position, which is shown here. I basically said she has no registered patents, trademarks, or copyrights, either in the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office or the World Intellectual Property Office. What does that mean? That means that at point-blank range, Maria knows she owns nothing, she has copyrighted nothing, she has trademarked nothing, and therefore any claims of copyright infringement are absolutely false and fake from the get-go. Nothing in the room is proprietary or protected. She doesn't own anything. She doesn't patent anything. And all the information I showed you here is actually out of the public domain. So I submitted. And the copyright came back recently with this notice that said the claims and copyright infringement are found to be unfounded without basis or merit. What does that really mean? Yeah, they're fraud. They're fraudulently submitted, and they're phony baloney when they're baked, when they're put in place. So in terms of a room to avoid, Maria and her trade order flow copyright strike basically is fraudulent and phony, and this is yet another reason to avoid the room. So this is Dr. Dean. Thanks for listening. Take care.